Hi guys, so for this week's discussion for chapter 14, how would experiencing a violent crime change someone's worldview? How can a counselor help them work through it? So experiencing a violent crime can fundamentally shatter an individual's sense of safety, trust, and predictability in the world. It may lead to hypervigilance, distrust in others, especially strangers, and a belief that the world is inherently dangerous or unjust. This shift in worldview is often associated with PTSD and can affect a person's relationship, career, and daily functioning. I know just from personal experience, as a woman, if I'm ever walking alone or like in an area that I don't know very well, I'm very hyper aware of what's going on, and I have not experienced any violent crime towards myself. I think it's just everything that is portrayed in the media and that we see. Can be very upsetting and triggering, even if you haven't experienced something like that. And then a counselor can support clients by validating their trauma response and helping them rebuild a sense of safety and control. Trauma-informed approaches like cognitive processing therapy can help clients examine and reframe maladaptive beliefs after the crime. And grounding techniques, EMDR, and narrative therapy may also be used to process traumatic memories and restore a healthier worldview. Establishing a strong therapeutic alliance is critical, as the client may struggle with trust. And then chapter 15, the stigma experienced by survivors of suicide and homicide threatens to further burden families and to impede the grieving process. How would you therapeutically address the stigma in therapy? So stigma following suicide or homicide can include feelings of shame, guilt, isolation, and being judged or blamed by others. This can complicate grief and lead to disenfranchised mourning, where the grief is not openly acknowledged or supported by society. And therapeutically, a counselor can normalize the client's emotions and educate them about common grief reactions after traumatic loss, creating a safe space where survivors can speak freely without fear or judgment is essential. Group therapy with others who have experienced similar losses can reduce feelings of isolation. Narrative therapy can help clients re-author their story, and psychoeducation can challenge societal myths about suicide and homicide. Encouraging rituals of remembrance and honoring the deceased in meaningful ways can help restore dignity and aid healing. And then Friedenthal podcast, name one counseling intervention from the podcast in which you believe would be helpful in preventing client suicide. One powerful intervention discussed by Stacy Friedenthal is creating a safety plan collaboratively with the client. This plan includes identifying personal warning signs, coping strategies, social supports, and emergency resources. The act of co-creating the plan empowers the client to provide a concrete tool for moments of crisis. It also opens up the conversation about suicide in a direct but supportive way, reducing secrecy and shame around suicidal thoughts. Friedenthal emphasizes the importance of checking on the plan regularly and making it a living document. And I think it even could be helpful for a client to share this with someone that they trust outside of the therapeutic relationship, because the therapist is only going to see them for however many hours during the week, or possibly even 1 hour during the week or every other week. So I feel like they have a very small window, and the person that is having suicidal thoughts or ideation could be leaving out details so that potentially they aren't like giving any red flags to the therapist. So I think even once that trust is established within the client-counselor relationship, potentially seeing if there was anyone that the client trusts enough to be like, hey, would you be comfortable letting whoever know about this as well? And then number 4, for the Lane Pease recordings, discuss 3 aspects of working with grieving children that are surprising or that you want to know more about. So I picked children grieve in spurts. One surprising insight was how children often grieve intermittently rather than continuously. They may seem unaffected at times and suddenly express intense sadness. This challenges the assumption that grief is linear and highlights the need for ongoing check-ins over time. To me, this one kind of makes sense because I feel like I, even as an adult, kind of grieve like this. I feel like one moment, if something like when my grandparents passed away, like it took me a couple months to even kind of comprehend what happened. And then it still comes and goes in waves. So I kind of understand this, and I feel like it's even something that affects adults. Magical thinking. It was eye-opening to learn that young children may engage in magical thinking, believing that they somehow cause the death through thoughts or actions. This underscores the importance of developmentally appropriate explanations and gentle correction of these beliefs. And the importance of play. Hendricks emphasizes the use of expressive modalities like art, play, and storytelling to help children process grief. And I personally would love to learn more about specific play therapy techniques and how counselors tailor them to a child's developmental stage.